From wildfires to COVID-19 to the invasion of Armenia and, of course, the Russian collusion investigation, Congressman Adam Schiff has been in the national conversation representing the 28th District here in California. Welcome, Congressman. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Your opponent, let's get right to it. Eric Early accuses you of seeking the spotlight and abandoning your district. He said abandoning your district. Are you spending too much time in D.C.? Have you forgotten your constituents there in the Pasadena-Glendale area, your congressional district?
No, and that's merely, I think, a campaign talking point. My constituents know me too well. I've been going back and forth with my district now for 20 years, on average every other week. Even during the pandemic, I've had over 100 meetings with constituents, town halls, telephone town halls, Zoom calls and meetings. The problem, I think, for my opponent is he's from Woodland Hills originally. He hasn't been involved in our district. People in our community don't know him, but they do know me. And that's why I think that argument falls so flat.
Adam Schiff may be one of the most recognized lawmakers on Capitol Hill. He also represents the 28th Congressional District here in Southern California. But this November, he has a challenger. He is a businessman and a lawyer, and his name is Eric Early. He is joining me now. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Lisa, thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so let's first just kind of address the elephant in the room, which is Adam Schiff is a huge name in the world of politics. Yeah. How does somebody who is challenging him in this contested district, how does somebody make traction?
Well, listen, Adam Schiff is the emperor who has no clothes, frankly. He's a bully, but I believe he's actually spineless. In fact, I know he's spineless. He's weak. He's a worm. And he hasn't run into anything like me in the last 20 years. And one way you do it is you build a great campaign team and you have a great message. And I've got a great campaign team. I have a great message. You know, I've been an attorney for 27 years. I'm managing partner of a nationally recognized law firm. I got a great family. Schiff just has not run into anything like me, and we have a huge national fundraising campaign going on. Mm-hmm. We've raised over $2 million in donations, and we have over 500 volunteers. We have incredible energy behind us, and this can be done. It's time for a change. Adam Schiff, in his 20 years, has virtually abandoned our district, the 28th District.
I'm curious, because you've been having these town halls, do you feel that voters are getting a little bit fatigued by the rancorous exchange between left and right and with the discourse in D.C. and even down to the state and city level?
I do, absolutely. You know, I think the tone has become progressively less and less civil, more ad hominem attacks, more name calling. And, you know, I'll say that to an extraordinary degree, for well or for ill, the President of the United States sets the tone. And if the President of the United States sets a tone of bitter division and name calling, and I think I probably have about 8 nicknames from the President by now, it carries over. And you see that kind of brand of campaigning now percolate all over the country. You see it in my own race with my opponent, you know, using the same kind of, you know, smear tactics. And it's really, I think, diminishing of our democracy. And I can't wait to turn the corner on this.
And I'm wondering, is the name calling necessary? I mean, you started this interview by calling your opponent a slew of different names. And I'm wondering, is that necessary or beneficial to the conversation to bring together unity?
Lisa, first of all, I'd like your viewers, I'd ask you folks to go to www.ericearly.com. We have more than 30,000 donations from around America, and this is a grassroots effort of major proportions. We've raised over $2 million. We need your support, and read more about me. As far as the name calling, Lisa, this is all I will say. We are in the state of California. This place has been under one-party rule for years and years now. Conservatives know that there is destruction going on from top to bottom in this state because of these policies they put in place. You add to that really their control of the mainstream media, the LA Times of the world and such. So, you know, the people, the Democrats on the other side that we're fighting are killers when it comes to politics. All right? And their mainstream media friends are killers when it comes to politics, to make sure no Republican in the state of California ever gets in a major elected office again. And so Lisa, as far as the names, there's no more playing games around here. There's no more pussyfooting. Republicans, I got to tell you, there's an energy building all around my district, all around this state. We see the mess going on. More and more Hispanic Americans are joining up with us, Black Americans, Jewish Americans, and this can be done. But the gloves are off now. President
Trump has claimed that our fires are the result of mismanagement of our forest lands. Now, the federal government owns a majority of the wildlands in California. And so I'm curious as to what kind of initiatives you might put forth to alleviate the problems that we have with these fires. And is it climate change or is it forest mismanagement?
Well, it's interesting that the president at one point was saying that we should be raking our forests. And when he complains about forests in California and much of that land is federal land, he acts as if he is not the president of the United States, that he has no responsibility. If we need more funding for forest management, then we need to provide more funding. And he should stop trying to cut funding for domestic priorities like that. Yes, we can always improve forest management, but let's not bury our head in the sands. We are seeing more and more extreme weather, more and more extreme fires because of climate change. And of course, a lot of the fires in California are not in the forests. They're in our neighborhoods, they're in the grasslands. And, simply saying, rake the forests isn't going to cut it. We need to get serious about climate.
I talked to fire chiefs across this state about firefighting efforts and the complications of that and the lack of funding. And my question is to you, how do you do it differently than what's currently happening?
Our firefighters right now are fighting in the heat, fighting on the hills, fighting in the saving houses all around. So thank God for every single firefighter. One thing that has to be done immediately is that, and as you probably know, Lisa, there are tons and tons of dead trees kindling throughout the forest all over our state. Up until about 10 years ago, we had a forest management program. All that stuff would be collected, gotten out of the forest, all of that kindling, all of that fuel for these fires. And then about 10 years ago or so, these environmental laws came in place that basically said it is not environmentally friendly to clean this stuff out. These laws were pushed by opponents of mine in the Democrat Party here. If I was the governor, what Gavin Newsom should do yesterday is start a Marshall Plan and clear all that stuff out of the forest immediately. At the same time, we have to do whatever we can.
I mean, it's not just the forest, though. I live in Orange County now, and I don't live by a forest, and there are wildfires that pop up around here as well. So how do you manage that? I think it's a funding issue for firefighters, for equipment, for personnel that has been cut over the years.
At least I was getting to that. Everything like this is a funding issue, obviously. Right. And, when I'm in Congress, I'll do whatever I can to get federal funds to help for all these things.